Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Alicia from World Wanderers, and today I'm talking about how to survive a long-haul flight in economy. I visited 49 countries so far and sat through dozens of 10-plus hour flights in the cheapest seats airlines offer, and I've got sleeping on a plane down to a science. In this video, I'm going to break down where to sit if you've got the choice, what to wear, what must-have comfort items to pack, and a few other tips to make your flight fly by. So let's dive in. Welcome to World Wanderers.
We're Alicia and Will.
Come wander the world with us. I just returned from a work trip to the Philippines, which included a 70-hour travel day. And not to brag, but I was able to sleep for 12 out of the 15 hours on the overnight leg from San Francisco to Manila, which was way better than all 23 of my other coworkers. So I'm here to share my secrets with you. First up, let's talk about where to sit if you have the option to choose a seat. My first priority is always getting a window seat. I sleep best when I'm able to lean my head against the wall. This also guarantees I only have one person next to me. So if someone is on the larger side and intruding into my space a little, at least I know I can get a little extra room by leaning towards the window. I also find I sleep better when I can lean to the right, so I try to pick the correct side of the plane if there's a lot of seat options available. This is a seat map of my long-haul United flight on a Boeing 777-300ER. So in this case, I'd try for a seat L or a seat A. My next goal is to grab a seat with no one behind me. It can be super disruptive when you're trying to sleep if you have someone behind you bumping the seat a lot or putting their tray table up and down all the time. So if it's available, I definitely prefer to pick a seat right in front of a wall. So for this flight, I'd pick row 43 or row 57. I ended up in seat 57A and it worked out great. It was a window seat with no one behind me and only had one other seat next to me that I had to bother if I needed to get up and go to the restroom. I know sometimes people don't like to choose seats right by the bathroom, but it wasn't an issue for me on this flight at all. Now, this flight was fully booked, but I also like to hedge my bets by picking the last few rows on a flight for a few other reasons. People tend to pick the front rows of the plane so that they can disembark fastest. I've also noticed that automatically assigned seats tend to be filled from the front. So more often than not, whenever I've gotten a whole row to myself or an extra middle seat empty next to me, it's been in the back of the plane. So I always choose the back in the hopes that this will happen. And if I'm traveling with my husband or a companion, I'll always leave an empty seat between us. So for example, I'll choose seat A and he'll choose seat C. If the plane isn't full, no way someone is purposely selecting to sit in the middle seat. And if the plane does fill up, in our experience, the middle person who has had seat B has always been happy to trade their middle seat for either the aisle or the window seat. So we've never been separated, but have definitely lucked out and gotten the empty seat between us a lot of times. Most airlines let you choose a seat for free on these long haul flights, but if they don't, definitely download their airline app and see if they'll let you put your preferences in. For example, the United app allows you to put your preference. So I choose window as my first priority, and then window or aisle as my second priority. And even if you don't have status with the airline and have 0 miles accumulated, add in that frequent flyer number. This will bump you up further on the priority list for seat preferences than someone who hasn't inputted a frequent flyer number at all. Next, let's talk about what to wear. First, make sure you wear loose clothing. I'm all for leggings normally, but find that my body gets super bloated after being in the air that long, and tight clothes become unbearably tight. I also recommend layers so that you can be comfortable no matter the temperature. I wear a loose fitting tank top because I've been stuck on flights where the whole plane was sweating due to an AC issue. And I always also have a sweater or sweatshirt as well because more often than not, the plane is freezing. I always also pack a pair of cozy socks or wear them so that my feet are comfortable when I slip off my shoes. And on that note, wear shoes that are easy to slip off. I know people talk about dressing up for flying, and some argue that this is a sign of respect, but in my experience, I've never received a free upgrade because of dressing nice, which I feel like is like an urban myth from a while ago. And for the most part, I've seen sweatpants, tennis shoes, Crocs, and even pajama pants across every single continent and culture. At the end of the day, no one cares what you look like if you're dressed modestly. so I recommend being comfortable. Now, let's talk about my must-have comfort items. First, I've been using this foot hammock for years, and it's awesome. Basically, it has an adjustable strap that you slip over the tray table, then that creates a footrest for you to place your feet on. Now, I'm definitely super cautious about not disturbing the person in front of me when my feet are on it, but I find that once it's in place, I don't move my legs, and you can't tell if you're in the seat in front of me. It also folds up super small, so I find that it's definitely worth the space it takes up in my bag. And I'll link anything I mentioned in this video in the description below if you want to check it out on Amazon. Another must-have for me is a blanket. Now, I know that on most long-haul flights, most airlines are going to give you a blanket, but that one thin, scratchy one that they give you, and to be honest, it doesn't always get washed in between flights, so I like to bring my own. This one is super soft and warm and folds up into a case that can be used as a pillow. And I bring it on every flight, even if it's only 2 hours and I have no intention of sleeping. It's like throw sized and it's super warm and comfy. And I just find that it's definitely worth the space. And then I can use it in my hotel room if I'm also cold. So I really like this one. Next, I recommend an ostrich pillow. Now, I've tried tons of pillow options over the years, and this has been the clear winner for me. I had one like this before, which is like the kind of normal one. And I know some people like the turtle ones that you wrap around your neck, but this one has been the one that works best for me. First, I like that it's deflatable, so it takes up minimal room in my carry-on. And it also blows up in about 5 breaths. So it's not like I'm blowing up a pool floaty for 5 minutes or need to bring an air compressor. So it's like, I'll show you how it blows up. So basically, you have this little like place you can put your head in, which is where the ostrich name comes from. And then you can tuck your arms through it like this, and then put your head down, or even like put it on its side. It's just super versatile. So sometimes I put it on my lap and like jam it under my chin to support my neck. It works really well for me, and it's been very durable. I've had it for a few years now. Next is my secret weapon, ZzzQuil. I'll either bring the pills or I'll pour the liquid from this big bottle into 3-ounce travel containers. I personally think the liquid works a little bit better, but it's kind of a hassle compared to the pills. Whichever form you choose, though, it's definitely worth it if you have difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep on planes. I used to never be able to sleep, but like I mentioned, I literally slept for 12 hours straight on this last flight. My other secret is how to block out sound. Some people swear by noise-canceling headphones, but those have never really worked for me. I find they cancel out the plane noise, but not random sounds like crying babies or announcements or talking, which is the things that tend to wake me up. What does work for me is white noise. Now, if you have an iPhone, you don't need to do anything special or even download an app. If you go into settings on iPhone and scroll down to accessibility, select audio and visual. Then select background sounds and toggle it from off to on. You can select noise volume and even have it playing in the background behind music or videos you're listening to. You can choose from a bunch of different sounds, but I find bright noise to be the best for me to fall asleep to. So I'll just pop in my regular AirPods or plug in my normal headphones and let it play the whole flight, and it's like I'm in my own little world. My other tip is to have a water bottle in your seat back pocket or on the floor. I'll sometimes wake up super thirsty from the dry air on the flight, and if I can just take a few sips of water, I'll be able to fall back asleep way easier than if I have to get up and go ask a flight attendant for a drink. Next, let's talk about organization. I have a carry-on size backpack that I travel with that goes in the overhead bin. In this, I'll have my pillow, blanket, foot hammock, and water bottle right on top. This means when I get to my seat, I quickly pull out all these items, throw them on my seat, and stow my bag for the remainder of the flight. For my personal item, I have a large belt bag, or for you 90s kids like me, a fanny pack. In this, I put my wallet, my passport, my phone, charging cable, power bank, Kindle, wet wipes, ZzzQuil, and lotion. These are the things I'd like to keep an eye on or will want to use in the flight and have easy access to. A fanny pack is perfect for this because I'll tighten the strap and slide it over the tray table and then close the tray table. This basically gives me a whole other pocket to organize my stuff that's easy to get into for whatever I need during the flight. It also allows my personal item to not be at my feet so that I can fully stretch out my legs if I want to. And the drawstring bags for my foot hammock, pillow, and blanket, I'll slide those over the armrest by the window so that they're out of the way and I don't lose them. And finally, my last tip to get to sleep is to emulate your home bedtime routine. So I'll start by washing my face with a wet wipe and putting on lotion so that my face and hands don't dry out. I'll take my Z-Quill so that it has 15 minutes or so to kick in. And then I'll make sure my seatbelt is buckled over my blanket so that the flight attendant doesn't have to wake me up to check that it's buckled if the fasten seatbelt sign comes on. And then finally, I'll do what I do before bed at home. I'll read a little or do a crossword puzzle or listen to some calming music to wind down. And then I'll fall asleep like clockwork. And there you have it, my pro tips on sleeping in economy. Do you have any tips or best practices you swear by? If so, let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. And if you found this helpful, please give it a like so that YouTube knows to recommend it to people like you. And if you're interested in more travel content, don't forget to subscribe so you can wander the world with us. Safe travels.